And welcome back to The Way of the Wandering Wizard. I am, as always, Robert Andrew Meredith Kennedy, and I am, as always, a pure and open channel for the finest vibrations of divine love and light made manifest here in service to Gaia and those who travel with her. Although most folks call me Bob the Wizard. You probably gathered why. Now, the fact that I am posting again goes to show, or posting to you as a human and not as a giant frog, just goes to show that the old witch has seen the last video and it met her approval. Well, what she actually said was, "Oh, go ahead and post it if you have to," but I'm taking that as an approval. After all, this was her idea. This was very much her idea. She turned round, looked me in the eye and said, "Well, Bob, you love the sound of your own voice. Why don't you go down the cabin and talk to yourself?" Which is what I do. As I said, these memoirs I share are serving purpose for me personally. It's a chance for me to share my life. I feel that I've had an exciting life. I like to share it. It also serves a purpose in my working career, which means I do actually get a chance of having had my say by this medium to shut up and listen. But for now, on with the memoirs. In between work, or very shortly after returning from Ireland, new love of my life, having moved in, living in a pink fluffy cloud, I was asked to fly back to Ireland. One of my replacements basically hadn't fared well, didn't enjoy the work half as much as I did. It would be very difficult to get somebody through. Natural progression. I barely got back into my day job. So I flew back over on one joyous, I think, blagged a meeting somewhere or other. Tan flew over. And we went to visit the Giant's Causeway, to which she was heard to remark, "It's a little bit smaller than I was expecting." Tale of our marriage. All joking aside, it's a magnificent space in Northern Ireland. It's a beautiful country. It was nice to be able to get out, wrapped up in that pink bubble. Nice and safe. We toured a few of the sites of Northern Ireland. Saw some beautiful spaces. Those are the fond memories of that tour. Work was busy. The next memorable one was a range day. Strangely, a range day will feature in my exit from the MOD, but that's one for a tale or two's time. It was a standard range demonstration day for the press. Various explosives, various gunpowders, pyrotechnics would be displayed, what their effects were. A few EOD weapons were shown, vehicles disrupted, bags blown up, all of the kind of things that the press would want to see. A bit of a showcase for the EOD regiment, so it had to be just right, and careful preparation had been laid. Now, after a briefing, the soldier obviously had listened intently to how the briefing would run, which would be the boss would stand in front of the assembled masses and deliver at stand one, and he would then describe what was going to happen. It would then go bang, and they'd move on to the next. Whereupon he would then point at the stand, talk through the next piece, give the nod. The lad in the firing chamber would fire the device, or fire whatever was needed to be fired, and on to the next. I mean, these are fairly standard fare for for many of us, these demonstrations. Well, all was going fairly well. He gave the opening brief, and as soon as he pointed to stand one, it went bang. He bluffed his way through his first delivery, pointed at stand two, bang. When, "If you're ready for stand three, bang." At which point, he had a slight pause, and then drifted back to the cabin, whereupon the assembled masses could still hear the epic level bollocking that was being delivered as to exactly when his signal was to fire the next one. The event ran on. We all had a smile, but I include that tale because it was reminiscent of my exit. The last thing happened was a case of mistaken identity. As I said, whenever we flew and moved, we were often in Greens. I joined a lunch, I couldn't even tell you where I was based. In somewhere for a day, dropped in, grabbed food. I joined the queue, ponytail down, beard out, grabbed a plate of food, the usual fare, and sat myself down at a small gap. One of the lads nodded to me, and in the course of the conversation, obviously looking slightly different from your average squatty, he basically asked me how my selection had gone. My selection went very well. I rocked up to the boss's office with a cup of coffee. He said, "Do you want to go back and earn even more overtime and do even more for your career?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, what are you?" I said, "Scientific advisors. I'm just a civvy." Well, he went back to his mates, head hung in shame. Now, by a bizarre series of coincidences throughout my career, I did in fact end up working with the Special Forces. But that will be one for a little taleette, highly edited, working with the hooligans. I did say I'd led an interesting life. I hope you're enjoying watching these half as much as I am sharing them. Now a slightly shorter episode tonight. I shall go away and have a good think about what I may say about working with the Hereford hooligans. Take care, go well, blessed be.